Today we're taking a look at the 2017 Nissan Rogue S. Now for 2017, the Nissan Rogue has gone through a pretty extensive refresh. So we're going to do a quick walk around and kind of cover some of the changes that you're going to be seeing in this model. Now we're not going to be going over all of the features offered in the Nissan Rogue on every trim level. We're only going to be covering what features are standard on the base S trim level. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, I will be doing a video later kind of covering the side-by-side the changes from 16 to 17, but to give it a quick rundown, what we do see is a whole completely different front. So the headlights actually have been tweaked a little bit and designed differently. They might seem very similar, and in fact they are similar, but they're actually different shape. The LED has also changed as well. What you see on the hood has changed, the entire front bumper, and now the V-motion is a little bit more pronounced. So again, all of that come together to make the Rogue seem quite a bit more attractive, more muscular looking vehicle. We'll do another quick walk around look. Now, as you see, the side profile largely remains the same, with some of the key differences being, of course, the tail lights, the way they look, and then, of course, the headlights and the front bumper, how it wraps around, and also the rear bumper, how it wraps around. So, again, it is actually quite a bit different. It's easy to kind of tell them apart, especially here in the rear tail lights. You see they're more tinted. You have a darker red here with LEDs integrated into now even the base model tail lights, and again the design is a lot nicer, I would say. So tinted rear tail lights, then the bumper has actually been redone. It kind of is very similar to what you would see in the Pathfinder's bumper. So again, more aggressive looking rear and front. Now, one small thing people won't notice too much is that right there. So even the satellite radio hump, the antenna has actually changed. So it's more of a shark fin looking type of thing. So it's quite different than the little bump that I used to have. Now, speaking of features that are standard here on the base, so even though it's the base trim level, don't let that fool you. The Nissan Rogues actually come pretty loaded. So backup camera, alarm system. We'll go into the interior details in quite a bit, but what you do see here standard even on the base trim level are these nice LED daytime running lights. So you see, as soon as you turn on the car, these LED lights will turn on, and they will remain on so long as the car is on and not in park, with the parking brake on. So again, they really add to the appeal of the Nissan Rogue. It's an attractive mid-size crossover that's perfect for the family. Moving around to the outside, to the side profile, and this one, what you do see here is tinted windows. That is because this one also has a family package, but we'll get into that in a separate video. So for now, ignore the third row and ignore the tinted windows. That is not going to be on the base model, but this particular one that we're looking at does feature it. Again, we're going to do one more quick walk around look, really absorb the changes and take a look at the new design. Really is a huge step forward. And for comparison's sakes, what we do see here in the back, that is a 2016 Nissan Rogue, and as you can see, it is quite different as far as the rear design, and drastically different from the model that I replaced before. Like I mentioned, you do have a rear backup camera, which actually lives underneath right there. And to open up the hatch, you're going to open it up through this button here. Now, right now it is locked, so it's not going to open, but you get the idea. Now, when it comes to the wheels, these are 17-inch steel wheels. Now, don't let that fool you. It also has quite a unique feature that is actually specific only to the Nissan Rogue. It's Nissan's Easy Tire Fill Alert. So when you have a low tire or anything like that, and you're filling up the air, the vehicle will actually alert you when you have reached the correct tire pressure. So it'll honk once you're actually at the correct tire pressure, so you don't have to have a tire pressure gauge with you to see whether you're overfilled or underfilled. If you're overfilled, it'll actually honk a couple times, and then it'll honk one time once you reach the correct pressure. So again, 17-inch alloy, 17-inch steel wheels with that unique feature. Now, under the hood, we have Nissan's famous QR25DE engine. What that means is a 2.5 liter engine, four cylinder. Now, it's famous because Nissan has used this in many vehicles, like the Altima, the Nissan Rogue, which is the one we're looking at now, and some international vehicles. So this is an engine Nissan has been using for a very long time. And this application is good for about 170 horsepower, 175 foot-pounds of torque. Now, Nissan designs the engine to be very, very easy to maintain if you decide to do the maintenance yourself. So everything is pretty much right at your fingertips. If you wanted to check the brake fluid, you want to check the oil, pretty much everything is designed with the user in mind. So Nissan does not overcomplicate their engines. It is also comes with the timing chain versus a timing belt, so the timing chain will never need to be replaced. Spark plugs you need to be maintained at 105,000 miles, and the oil change is every 5,000 miles or 6 months. So really, it's famous because it's a very low maintenance engine, very economical. You're getting about 33 miles to the gallon on the highway, and it is coupled to a CVT transmission. So what that means is going to be smooth acceleration, quiet operation, and faster acceleration, because there is no need to shift. There's no shift shock. The engine automatically stays in the perfect RPM range to get the best acceleration and best fuel economy. Along with the CVT, it also does incorporate a sport mode with a shifter itself, so you can actually control the simulated gears if you decide to. So we'll go into that a little bit more detail once we actually get inside the vehicle and we start driving it. But just wanted to do a quick rundown of the engine and what it offers. Again, you're getting a incredibly sturdy engine that Nissan has been using for a long time that is incredibly reliable. Now, as soon as we open up the door to the Nissan Rogue, we're actually greeted by a very elegant interior design, starting from even the door panel. So Nissan has these nice soft touch materials here where you would rest your hand for the driver's side, and then nice soft leather touch here. So again, Nissan does not forget about the drivers or the passengers, or even the interior per se. So you get a really nice interior at a very affordable package. So even this being the base model, you still have very nice features like power windows, power door locks, power side mirrors as well. Now, when it comes to the seat, they're actually a 6-way adjustable manual, so you can actually lift the seat up if you decide to, put the seat down if you decide to, adjust it back and put it front and back. Now, as we step into the side of the vehicle, you see how immediately it gets a lot more quiet. So again, Nissan is paying attention here to the customer, so they're using some of the most high quality materials to make sure that the sound is very insulated. None of that outside noise bleeds into the inside. So let's go ahead and start it up and take a look at some of the interior features. Now, one thing that Nissan also incorporated in the base trim level here is this completely new for the Nissan Rogue, kind of influenced by the new Maxima steering wheel, but it's this nice D-bottom, D-shaped steering wheel. So it really makes it feel like a more sporty vehicle. So a wheel similar like this debuted on the Nissan Maxima. This tends to incorporate more of an infinity combined with Nissan type of design. So again, it's incredibly attractive, especially on a Nissan Rogue, and even more so considering this is a base model to have a wheel this nice. Now, moving on, you also have this nice, what Nissan calls the advanced driver's display, which gives you really important, relevant information as you're driving, so you can keep your eyes on the road, but look at information if you decide to, and that is controlled by these new buttons here. So it used to be controlled by a square and a back button, but now you can actually control where you want it to go. So it's a lot easier to use. It looks like actually quite a bit nicer. You can toggle through a couple settings here, press the OK button to go into one if you decide to. You'll have a picture of the vehicle. That screen doesn't actually do much. It's more for looks. It just looks nice. You also have your average speed traveled, your trip meter if you decide to, a fuel economy, which depending the way you drive, will give you the best fuel economy rating. So once we actually get driving, I'll go into a little bit more detail there. You have what songs playing, what radio station you're on. Again, so when you're driving, you're not distracted by looking at the radio. The screen right here, you have all the relevant information right at your fingertips. You have a helpful tire pressure meter. So if one of your tires is low, the vehicle is going to let you know exactly which tire it is and how much air you need on that tire. Moving on, we go to the chassis control, which will tell you if certain safety features are activating, like active trace control and active ride control, stuff like that. So if you want more detail as to that, you can check out the website, or I'll give you a quick rundown right now. Active trace control will pretty much try to keep you in the shape that you're going when you're going through a turn. So it's a little bit complicated to explain, but again, you can check out our website for that. And as far as active ride control, it'll actually brake each individual tire as you're going through rough roads to kind of minimize that rough road feeling. So again, it's actually incredibly smooth over rough roads. Then you go to your warning screen. That will turn on. A little hazard light will turn on anytime you have a warning, and it will kind of go into detail as to what the warning is on the warning screen. So if you take a look right there, it's saying that we have a door open. Once we close the door, the little hazard light turns on, and then there are no more warnings. So included here in the base trim level, we also have, of course, Bluetooth for calling and for playing media. So Bluetooth audio can play your Pandora, YouTube, any sort of streaming audio that you have from your phone, or any Bluetooth connected devices will actually play through the speakers of the car without needing to connect any cables. You have, of course, your cruise control features right there. Now, moving on to the infotainment system, which is really what most people like to hear about. And now in this infotainment system, actually a little bit different than the infotainment system in the 2016 Rogue. What you do see here now is the absence of Nissan Connect apps. No more Nissan Connect apps. Nissan's kind of moving away from that now, but again, being that you have Bluetooth audio, you really don't need that so much anymore. You have voice commands that you can control.
A compatible Bluetooth.
And of course, Siri hands-free. So to activate it, you would just press and hold the button here.
Please connect.
Of course, you do have to have an iPhone and have it connected through Bluetooth to be able to use those features. But again, that's more of the reason why Nissan is kind of moving away from Nissan Connect, being that now you have an intelligent assistant included in the vehicle. You don't much need a Nissan app connects anymore. But moving on, of course, you have your regular AM, FM, satellite radio, XM. And here we see the media button, which is going to control any auxiliary inputs such as CD, Bluetooth audio, USB, or auxiliary. You would just alternate through that by pressing this button here. You have your iPod menu if you have your iPod or iPhone connected to through the USB, and then of course the back button when you go into settings and stuff like that. So again, a lot of features included even on the base trim level. So again, like I said, Nissan really is paying attention here to the Nissan Rogue. Even like stuff like the dashboard is covered in really nice soft touch materials here. Really no hard plastics inside the Nissan Rogue. And that nice design line, which actually also travels here to the passenger door. You see you have nice leather stitching right there and soft touch materials. Even stuff like the center console now has actually been redesigned as well. It makes it look actually quite a bit more attractive. Space is still about the same. You have a charger right there. But really, it's more of the attractive design that really makes this 2017 model a huge upgrade over the previous 2016. Now, when I was mentioning a sport shifter, when you go into sport mode, this is what I'm talking about. So now you see that actually the shifter has actually gone through quite a bit of a change. You see here that we have a different design, leather wrapped as well. So you see, it really makes you feel like you're on a more premium vehicle now. So they're borrowing a lot of stuff from the Infinities and bringing it down now to the Nissan. So you're getting an incredibly great deal on a quite high quality vehicle. So now when you put this vehicle in drive, you'll see the drive position right there. Well, now once you put it to the left, you go into sport mode, you'll see the one right there. That is because now you can upshift and downshift just from right here. Now to activate sport mode, you would press sport. You'll see the sport button turn on right there, and you can control the gears yourself if you decide to. So it helps you give it a more, again, like a sporty feel, coupled with, of course, this now sporty steering wheel. So it's little things here and there that Nissan adds that make you feel like you're in a better vehicle, a high quality vehicle. Now, speaking of the steering wheel, going back to it, this one is not leather wrapped, but it is actually different materials that were used in the 2016. So it really feels high end. Even though it's not a leather wrapped steering wheel, it still feels like a premium steering wheel when you touch it. So again, there's no I guess cheapness, you would say, in this Nissan Rogue. It definitely feels like you're in a more high end car. Now, when it comes to the seats, however, speaking of the seats, these are of course cloth seats, but they're more of what seems like a stain resistant material. As you can see, the design has actually changed. This material tends to actually clean easier, so it definitely feels a lot more premium. I cannot stress that enough. You really have to take a look at one in person and compare it to the 2016 to really appreciate some of the changes made in this model. Now, moving along to the back, you can see you have an adjustable rear seat, as well as that nice design language of leather padded armrests also travel here to the rear seats. Again, as you can see, you can actually adjust the seats independently, so you can actually scoot the seat forward if you decide to, scoot it back, adjust the back. So when it comes to the rear seat, this is actually class exclusive. No other vehicle really offers this in this class. An adjustable second row, reclining back. So again, features that Nissan adds to the vehicle to make it overall a more comfortable place to be in. So you can see here with the driver's side set about to my height, I have an incredible amount of room back here. So as you can see, my legs are so far apart from touching anything. I can put it forward if I decide to, or even go all the way back and have an incredible amount of space. So you can see here, it is very customizable. We're gonna recline this one so you have an idea what it actually is and how it works. So again, we're going to take one quick look at the entirety of the front. You see, it really feels like a more premium vehicle now. Definitely a nice place to be. Now, speaking of that, we're in the rear seat right now. One really neat feature to have, of course, these are 60-40 split seating, which means you can fold two and have one person sitting down, or fold one and have two people sitting down. One nice feature that is also can be done as a 40-40-20. So what that means, you can actually fold this center armrest and have it more as a pass-through. So you simply pull on that little lever that I pulled on, and now you have access to the rear trunk if you decide to. So everything comes down and it turns into a cup holder. Now if you're going to sit somebody, you simply fold it back in place, and that's it. You have an adjustable headrest for all three sides, you can see here. So again, little things here and there that Nissan adds that really make this vehicle feel a lot more premium. Now, one thing that is nice that they also added is, even here on the base trim level, you have AC vents for the rear seats. So most vehicles in this class, even on the base trim, will not feature stuff like that, but Nissan, even on the base trim level, has air vents that will travel all the way to the back. Now, traveling to the rear of the Nissan Rogue, we're going to go ahead and open up the hatch, get into the trunk area. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this one does come equipped with a third row. So you see the addition of these seats here, which will actually fold down flat most of the time. Instead, what you would see here if we didn't have it would be Nissan's adjustable Easy Flex seating. So you can kind of have a shelf that will actually go up here in this area. So this will not be here, and neither will that. That will be more for making a shelf if you decide to. This will actually still remain about the same. So you see how you have this space right here that will actually be able to go down, go up, and there's about 18 different configurations that you can do with the with the divide and hide. So I highly suggest you take a look at one in person so you can see what I'm talking about. The divide and hide really, I It lets you hide stuff in a lower level and also increase usable interior space. So it's a really nice feature that Nissan debuted in 2014 with the new redesigned Rogue. Again, it's something that it's nice to have. Definitely something that is missed when you go for the third Rogue, but again, it's something you have to take a look at in person. It's a really nice, very unique sort of way of handling the storage space here in the rear seats. Again, let's go ahead and take one final look at the rear of the vehicle. As you can see, definitely a nice place to be. Incredibly attractive. Now keep in mind, like I said, this is the base model, so we're not going to be covering all of the luxury and all of the features offered in the Nissan Rogue. This is just what is offered even on the base trim level. So you can see they're really giving you a lot of value for your money. Nissan's incorporating a lot of standard features on even some of the basis trim levels. So again, make sure to check out the channel where we're going to go into the different trim levels, covering the base S, moving on to the SV, which is the middle grade, and SL, which is the high end. That's the luxury version of the Nissan Rogue. It's going to feature a lot of the bells and whistles standard on that base model. So if you want to see what other features are offered, make sure to check out the channel and subscribe, where we're going to be going over all of those features. So this has been your in-depth look at the 2017 Nissan Rogue. Again, the 2017 has gone through a pretty extensive refresh. If you have any questions, feel free to comment, subscribe. We're going to be going into more detail later in different trim levels, and we're going to be doing a quick comparison between the 16 and 17 models. So make sure to stay tuned for that, and thank you for watching.